Have you ever looked at your own weakness and felt powerless? What if I told you that weakness itself can become the greatest strength you will ever have, if you only learn how to use it? This is the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, and today we'll hear a story that shows us how. Long ago in ancient Rome, there was a young man named Marcus. He was born into a noble family, surrounded by wealth, comfort, and opportunity. From the outside, it seemed he had everything. But inside, Marcus carried a heavy burden. He was weak in body. From childhood, sickness often kept him bedridden. While other boys trained in the fields, running and playing, Marcus would cough, shiver, and stare at the ceiling of his room. His body was fragile, and this weakness often filled him with shame. "Why me?" he would whisper to himself at night. Why was he not strong like the others? Why was he cursed with weakness when he had so many dreams? But one day, while lying in his chamber, Marcus reached for a scroll. It was a book of philosophy, the teachings of Epictetus, the great Stoic thinker. And in those words, Marcus found something that would change his life forever. Epictetus himself had been born a slave. He too had a body that was crippled and broken. But instead of letting that weakness destroy him, he learned to control the one thing no one could take from him: his mind. The words hit Marcus deeply. You may not control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That night, Marcus could not sleep. For the first time, he asked himself, if my weakness cannot be taken away, then can it be used as my teacher? The next morning, when his sickness returned, Marcus did not curse it. Instead, he observed it. He told himself, this body may be weak, but my thoughts are mine. My will is mine. My character is mine. Every day became a test. When pain came, he practiced patience. When sadness whispered, he practiced courage. When loneliness visited, he practiced gratitude. And slowly, Marcus began to change. His weakness became a training ground for his soul. Years later, Marcus Aurelius would rise to become the emperor of Rome. Yes, this same sickly boy, once trapped by weakness, became one of the greatest leaders in history. But here is the truth. It was not his armies, his wealth, or his title that made him great. It was the strength he forged from weakness. When wars raged across the empire, Marcus did not break. When plague swept through Rome, he did not despair. When betrayal and loss struck his heart, he wrote in his journal words that still inspire us today. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that for a moment. What stands in the way becomes the way. The very thing that holds us back can become the very thing that moves us forward. Marcus Aurelius turned his sickness, his fragility, into wisdom, patience, and unshakable strength. He showed the world that weakness is not an enemy. Weakness is raw material, and with the fire of courage, it can be transformed into power. So, what does this mean for you and me? We all carry weakness. Maybe for you it's not the body, but the mind, fear, self-doubt, anxiety. Maybe it's failure. Maybe it's rejection. Maybe it's a mistake from the past that still weighs heavy on your heart. The Stoic way teaches us not to run from it, not to curse it, but to use it. Your fear can teach you courage. Your failure can teach you resilience. Your heartbreak can teach you compassion. Every weakness carries within it a hidden seed of strength. The question is, will you water it, or will you let it die in the dark? Marcus Aurelius did not choose his weakness, but he chose what to do with it. And so can you. The next time life presses you down, ask yourself, how can this make me stronger? What lesson is hiding here? How can I turn this pain into power? Because in the end, weakness is not the opposite of strength, it is the beginning of strength. So remember this, when life puts a wall in front of you, don't just see it as an obstacle. See it as the way forward, because what stands in the way becomes the way. And just like Marcus Aurelius, you too can turn your weakness into your greatest strength.